This episode of the podcast is brought to you by Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Are you still cutting your own grass? Are you still trying to get your landscaping to look perfect on your own? That sounds sweaty. That sounds like a lot of work. That sounds like a job for Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Family owned and operated. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services, located on Kern Street in Exeter near Blue Ribbon Dairy, has the quality and experience to get your yard looking its best. The Garden Center offers plants, trees, sod, mulch, rocks, flowers, topsoil, grass seed, straw bales, and much more, while the Lawn and Landscaping Services offers mowing, trimming, planting, and full landscaping. And also new at Keller's Garden Center is the Zen Chaser Bonsai Studio, offering bonsai trees, supplies, and classes. Visit them on their social media page for more info. Keller's Garden Center and Landscaping Services. Get your free estimate today. Riley Loftus, welcome to the Popko Project podcast. How are you?
I'm good, buddy. How are you?
This is a year in the making, right? And that's no joke.
Quite literally a year.
Maybe just shy of a year. I feel like you reached out to me after I had Neil Nicastro on. That was like, I feel like around July, and we've been trying to do this ever since.
I just stalk Neil, and whatever he does, I try to do because I think he has created the best career as a self-employed musician. So if you hear barking, I apologize. I've got pit bulls and all that stuff, but
Nice.
yeah, I mean, I already knew that your podcast was popping off and it was really a success. And I was interested like well before that. But once I saw Neil, I was like, all right, part of my stalking means I got to hit up Johnny Popko now for the podcast.
Well, here we are a year later. And it's funny because the first time you rescheduled, the second time,
I think
you stood me up. I've literally been stood up twice in my entire life by women. One was when I was like 16 or 17.
I'm not one of them, I hope.
Once when I was 16 or 17, and you when I was a 40-year-old and a 41-year-old, no, 40-year-old man. So
I do that sometimes.
Two women on my list that have stood me up. You're one of them.
Yeah, and you know what? My dad, he once he found out that I stood up the podcast one time, and it was honestly by accident, and then I think I ghosted you for a couple weeks too. I was like afraid to even be like, I'm sorry, man, I totally got busy at work, I forgot. My dad was like, when he found out that I was on the podcast tonight, he's like, 8:30, remember, it's on Popko's podcast. Like, no.
Jim, it was like 8:33.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny timing how everything kind of played out, because had we done it a year ago, where we are currently, it would not even have played out like this, because
absolutely,
your dad is the CEO of Shamrock Communications, which they own Rock 107, ESPN Radio, and QFM, and then also the Billboard properties. And I've always heard of Jim Loftus, because I spent 7 years at Shamrock Communications. I had left for 3. And now, thanks to your father and Dave Mihal and Terry Dietz, I'm back in the fold at Shamrock, which I'm very happy about. But I've always heard of your dad's name. And I've always heard of your name too, like throughout, my time in the scene. Riley Loftus, Jim Loftus. I never put 2 and 2 together.
Right there.
Yeah. So, and then I guess I saw, I don't know when the news kind of broke. It was like later in 2023, and you had shared on your Facebook page that, Jim Loftus was essentially coming home to Scranton. And I, at that point I put 2 and 2 together,
Yeah.
And I'm like, holy crap. Jim Loftus is Riley Loftus's father. And even at that time, I had I was not even entertaining going back to Shamrock. That was late last year. And it wasn't until like February, March of this year that I came back to Shamrock. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I have big shoes to fill with him.
Well, I kind of wish this had happened before, because now I'm very nervous. because I know
You know
how.
he's gonna be watching this.
Yeah. So like the one episode that someone watches will be this one. It'll be your father, who is my boss, and hopefully he doesn't go. You know what? That guy sucks. Like I don't know why we hired him back.
No, my dad's a big Popko fan, and even before he knew that I knew you, my dad, I'm super close with my dad. My dad has always been like my number one, him and my mom, but my dad has always been my number one go-to guy for advice, just to talk. He's like my therapist. He's I have the best dad, and everybody that knows my dad, I've never heard one bad thing said about my father. Everybody that meets me that knows that he's my dad, has wonderful things to say about him. But my dad talks a lot about the business and the station, and when he was coming back to Rock 107, he kind of had some ideas about where he wanted to take the station and what he wanted to do with it. And your name came up all the time, like about, oh, I want to get this guy Popko back in here. He was here for a little while and he's doing something else now, but he's so good at what he does. And he was just talking about, we got to get this Popko. And I said, Popko? I'm like Johnny Popko, like the Popko Project, like that Johnny Popko. He's like, yeah, you know him. I'm like, yeah, like everybody knows him. And my dad was like, yeah, I gotta get him back. And then a few weeks later, he's like, we got him. And I was like, all right, nice. So he already knew you well before he made the connection between us and everything
That's
like
funny.
that. He's a
That's
big
really funny.
fan. My dad, you're friends with him on Facebook. I think Betty McNulty. That's Jim
Yeah.
on the cover. Yeah, and
Well,
he's always seeing all the stuff you post. He thinks you do great stuff. So
that's great. Well, it means a lot to me, and he was obviously one of the reasons I went back. The reason I left initially was because just financial reasons. It was
Mhm.
COVID was not a friend to
Sure.
many businesses, especially
Mhm.
those who are commission sales reps.
Absolutely.
And 3 years went by and it feels like it was less than that. It feels like it was a day. And then when he came back and like you said, he kind of shared his vision of where Shamrock was going to go, and
Yeah.
the stations, and kind of his vision. And again, like I said, I knew of his name, and like you said, also like there's never a bad thing. He's
Mm-mm.
like a legend in radio, right?
Yeah, he is. He
And
is.
so yeah, he sat down with him, Terry, and Dave, and it was a great meeting. And like I said, I'm glad to be back. But
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I grew up. We moved a little bit when I was younger. I'm born and raised here up until about fourth grade. And then we moved to Philadelphia when he went to go work for CBS Radio. He was the vice president of sales for the Philadelphia market. Um, and my dad's just given me some of the coolest opportunities. Like I met Justin Bieber twice in 1 week in
nice.
Philadelphia and in New York, and just concerts. And he took me to like 5 Jonas Brothers concerts, Hillary Duff concerts. And as like a 10-year-old kid, like those were like,
Yeah.
the ultimate. And it was just me and my dad, it was like me and him. And he brought me everywhere and just hanging out at the stations. I remember after school, just going and sitting in one of the offices or sitting with the jocks and, in the rooms. And he's just the coolest guy for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. I don't get to talk to him enough, but
Go up
I'm
and or go down and bother him, I should say.
yeah.
Go down and bother him.
I look
His ear's
forward
always
to.
open.
Yeah, I know it is, and I look forward to working with him. And so, I mean, how has his career and involvement in music kind of shaped who you are as a Riley Loftus, NEPA, you're a staple here, so to speak. Very talented singer. Should I call you a songwriter too? I know you don't have tons of stuff out there, but you have stuff out there, right?
Yeah, I haven't done anything like that in a long time, and we can get into the
Yeah, we'll
reasons
get into
why,
that.
but
Yeah.
yeah, I appreciate the accolades though.
Yeah, singer, songwriter, musician. You can catch her out playing all over town. She's got a
Yep.
whole list of July dates on her Facebook page, so go check those out. But you're always booked every month. But I mean, growing up with your dad, in the music business, I mean, that kind of shape, kind of the road that you've gone down.
Honestly, as surprising as this might sound, not at all.
Okay.
I don't think. And this is really a funny story. Like, when you're growing up and you start to pick out like what you might want to do and what you like. My dad was like, you can do anything. You're just not going into communications. That's it. You're not going into radio. It's too up and down. I don't think you have the skin for it. You're a crybaby. I don't think you're tough enough for it. And it's a lot of, ups and downs. It's unpredictable. So do whatever you want to do. You're just not doing that. And my mom, it was in radio too.
Mm-hmm.
Morning show, my mom was Mark and Renee in the morning. My mom was, just like in the same field as well. So that was just kind of my thing. As far as like skills and like genetics, my dad was always in the plays growing up. He always was singing, and my mom grew up playing piano. So I think I got that little gift of an ear maybe for music from them. But as far as like pursuing it and the business side of doing this, I really kind of did this on my own. They've always been supportive of what I wanted to do. And I have like a regular job too, like a day job that nobody knows about. That's just like in mental health and very like cut and dry and very serious job. But I kind of keep that very separate from my live music business. So a lot of people don't even know that I don't do this full time because I am playing out so much. But as far as like that whole piece, they kind of just let me go on my own, and they just supported but never pushed. And I mean, they're at almost all my gigs, so they're my number one fans. But as far as getting me into it and just how I've done it, they've really taken a backseat and just supported and just let me figure it out on my own, which I appreciate because I've been around for a minute. I don't know if a lot of people realize that, but I'm 28 now, and I've been playing in bars. My first gig in a bar I was 14.
Wow.
So I've been doing this for quite a while with some breaks here and there. COVID didn't help as well with the bar scene. But the last couple of years, I've really made it enough where it could be a full-time job. I'm just psychotic and
You're hustling, yeah.
too busy.
That's why you fell asleep that one night.
Yeah. And honest to God, that really was it. I felt like a piece of shit afterwards too. But
It's all good. So, I mean, what's obviously your dad, your family in music business, but what made you decide to pick up the guitar? Like or piano? I don't know if you are multifaceted in instruments or what.
My parents, I'm an only child, just me, Jim and Renee. That's it, my parents. And, as a kid, I was never like a sports kid. You know what I mean? I was never the kid playing soccer or softball or basketball. I had no interest whatsoever. So my mom was like, well, you got to do something. So at 4 years old, she put me in piano lessons. So I started with piano. And like the lady that I had was super weird. And I like hated going. It was like in the basement of her house. And she had like this weird boyfriend that would always like come in the room, and like he was weird and she was weird. And my mom was like, this is weird. So we ended up leaving that. And she was like, well, you got to do something, like, figure it out. So I was like, all right, I'll take piano lessons. We went to Magden Music, and I was taking piano lessons there instead. And then I have this very vivid memory of me and my dad watching School of Rock, the movie with Jack Black.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated with the way that the kids were playing the guitar. Like, I just thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. And my dad loved the movie. My dad loved Jack Black. So I said to my dad, as we're watching that movie, I'm like, I want to take electric guitar lessons. And he was like, bet, like, you got it. Like, you want to quit the piano and play electric guitar? Like, hell yeah. My dad was working at Rock 107 at the time. So, classic rock, me wanting to play electric guitar, watching School of Rock. He was like, this is awesome. So my dad literally that week bought me an electric guitar, an amp, and we signed up for electric guitar lessons at Magden, and we switched from piano to guitar. And I was taking from somebody else at the time. Didn't really get the best connection with that person. Took it for a couple of years, quit, lost interest. And then when I started high school, end of 8th grade into high school, I really started watching a lot of YouTube. And that's when YouTube was really coming out as really popular. And there was this artist, Tori Kelly. I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She's kind of dabbled in a lot of different genres, but she does a lot of acoustic stuff. And I fell in love with the acoustic guitar. So my dad, being awesome Jim Loftus, I tell him like, hey, I want to play the acoustic guitar. Now he goes out and buys me a Taylor acoustic guitar, like top of the line Taylor. And we signed up at Magden again for guitar lessons with Neil Nicastro. And Neil is just the most amazing musician, man, friend, person, one of the best guys in the world, I think, kind and talented, and has such a gift of teaching kids music. And And I just fell in love with going to lessons. We had a blast. He didn't just teach me scales. I mean, he was like, what are the songs that you like to listen to? And that's the kind of songs we'd learn. And it would be Katy Perry and Justin Bieber and Taylor Swift and stuff like that. And I just really got a love for it because of the passion that Neil kind of just exude from him during all of our lessons. I never dreaded going. I never dreaded practicing. I actually wanted to practice because I didn't want to disappoint him and piss him off if I didn't practice what he gave me. So I just enjoyed it so much. And he kind of was telling me, you can make some money by doing this too. And I was like, well, what do you mean? And he's like, you can play gigs. I'm like, well, what's a gig? And I'm 14 years old. Like, I don't know anything. And he's like, you go to bars and they pay you to do live music. I was like, what? And he was like, tell me, yeah, I'm playing at this place and this place. And it's like, that's cool. And, we let it go, whatever. And I told him I like to sing here and there and whatever. But the next lesson, I guess my mom was texting Neil like behind my back and was like, Riley really can sing. Like, she really can sing. And I really think you need to push her to sing, because what's good at just playing guitar if you want to play out, you can't just play out with a guitar, you got to sing. So he was like, okay, so my next lesson, we're practicing whatever. And he was like, so I heard you can sing really good. And I was like, what? Oh God, like I don't sing in front of people. And he's like, you're not leaving here until you sing. So I just taught you that Justin Bieber song. Okay, sing it and play it. So I was like, oh God. So I was embarrassed and I wanted to go home. So I was like, damn, let me just sing this song, right? So I sing this Justin Bieber song. And he's like, you're really, really good. Like, we got to work on this, but you really have something there. And I was like, okay. A couple days later, I'm at school. We had to put our phones in our lockers. And Scranton Prep is where I went to school. So God forbid we had our phones out. I get my phone out at the end of the day and I have a voicemail from Neil in my phone. And I was like, oh God, I listened to it. And he's like, I think I still have it actually, but he's like, hey, Riley, it's Neil. I just signed you up for Steamtown American Idol at the Steamtown Mall. So after school today, like you need to go down there because you're singing at the Steamtown American Idol. And I was like, what the actual
Wow.
going on? I was like, I went from not singing in front of anybody. Now Neil and my mom are in cahoots behind my back. Neil goes down to the Steamtown Mall, signs me up for Steamtown American Idol. And I was like, okay. So I called my mom, like, Mom, what did you guys do? I'm so scared. And Mom's like, okay, I'm picking you up now. We're going. So I literally, after school, my mom picked me up from school with my guitar. And like, she already knew about all this. I go down and she has a change of clothes for me. And I go and I do Steamtown American Idol. And I don't remember what place I got, but I just remember doing it. And it was like the first time I really sang in front of anybody. As in a crowd in the middle of the Steamtown Mall, back when the Steamtown Mall was like bumping,
Yeah.
And that was it. I started going to some open mics after that. Neil would invite me to play. I remember one of my first gigs I did with Neil was at Cooper's in Scranton. We played outside. And I sucked, man. I was bad. I was trash. I mean, I was young, so I had like a really high pitched voice.
You gotta start somewhere, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I watched some older videos. I'm like, holy shit, I was trash. Like, I can't believe people paid for this. Like, this is terrible. Oh my God. Or like my little like amp that I would used to use, and like my dad not knowing anything about guitar gear, like we thought we were doing the right thing. And then you see these guys with the big sound systems. Like I had nothing. Like I was going in with just like my little mic. I knew like 10, 12 songs, and I would just repeat them over and over and over again for 3 hours. And it was probably so cringe for anybody that was there watching me.
No.
But like you said, you got to start somewhere, and that's really it. I mean, I know it's a long kind of story, but that's how I really got into it. It's all Neil Nicastro's fault, and I say that all the time. Blame him for everybody that thinks I'm annoying on social media or whatever. It's his fault.
it's kind of amazing. Like there's people out there who like him that are doing what they're meant to do, right? Like
Yeah.
he's, like you said, a great teacher, he's always positive, he's always smiling. It's like how
Absolutely.
do you do this? How are you always this smiley and happy and positive? Because
Always.
like it baffles me. But like those people, and thank God, like they're put in these positions where in life where like they can have an impact on people, such as yourself. Because let's just say, he wasn't the guy to teach you. I mean,
Mhm.
where would you be now? Who knows, right?
Dude, I don't know. I mean, me and Neil have done so much together. Like we recorded songs together for my little EPs that I put out. He accompanied me on The Voice, an audition I had for The Voice back in 2017. We like shipped Neil to New York City and stuck him in a hotel room and he played guitar for me. Like he's been really like my ride or die buddy in this business since day one. And we can go months without talking or, but we always stay connected online. And if I hear that anybody wants to take lessons for anything, I always say Neil. Like Neil told me one time, he's like, somebody wanted to learn the banjo. I was like, okay. He's like, I bought a banjo and I taught myself the banjo and I'm giving banjo lessons or whatever the weird instrument was. And I was like, that's just Neil though. You know what I mean? Like he will just, somebody wants to learn something. He's so gifted musically that he could just go buy a random instrument. Maybe I think it was like the mandolin. Maybe it was that. It was something crazy. Now he gives
Regardless.
mandolins, whatever. So anybody that comes to me that says, "Hey, can you teach guitar?" I'm like, "Hell no! If you see me play, I'm not that great with the guitar." You know what I mean? But Neil Nicastro, like, hell yeah, go right to him, and he's awesome.
My mom wanted me to take banjo lessons
Nice.
when I was a kid, and I look back on that and it's like, so
Yeah.
I do this podcast and I love music and I've surrounded myself with music. Even like my days at the Weekender, I was always involved with music and I can't play any music at all whatsoever. So it's kind of ironic, but like my mom looking back, she wanted me to take banjo lessons, but I was like, I wanted to do sports,
Mhm.
and my parents didn't have the, I guess, the heart to tell me like, hey, dude, like, look at us. We're, 5'9", 5'8", 5'6", whatever my mom was. My dad wasn't very tall either. Like, we're short white people. Like, basketball is not in your future,
Might not be for us, yeah.
you know. But I wanted to play sports, and I was like naturally okay. I just never like put in the extra effort. I was like,
Mhm.
I want to practice and all the stuff you're supposed to do, but I never like did the extra stuff that like,
Right.
but like none of us did back then either. Like some did, but like the majority, like we were riding bikes and I had a part-time job and all that kind of stuff. But long story short, my mom wanted me to play banjo and I didn't want to do that. And I kind of wish that she would have made me,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, I mean, that's like my thing. I always say, like my parents, they never pushed, but there was always like a little bit of an expectation, like you need to do something. You know what I mean? Like find out what your thing is and do it. You know what I mean? I watched my dad work so hard every day my whole life with an extremely, I mean, just the most fantastic work ethic you can imagine. Um, and just dedication and just not giving up and not quitting. And there's been times where, I was going to lessons and this is more so before Neil, but I was like, I don't want to do this anymore. My dad's like, well, what are you, a loser? Like, you're gonna go. Like, come on. Like you start something, you finish it.
love
You know
that.
what I mean? And yeah, I really stuck with this. And my dad's my biggest supporter too. Like I can afford my own instruments now, thankfully, with the grace of God, it continues. But my dad, if I wanted a guitar, if I'm talking to my dad, like, oh, Dad, I'm looking at this Martin and I really like this. I'm like, okay, all right, nice. Then the next day he'll text me and he'd be like, let's go down to Jack's and Northeast Music. You wanna buy it? Like, I'll get it for you. And it just makes him so filled with joy and happiness to feel like he's still got a little part of my, I'm a grown woman, adult, don't live with the guy anymore. I do my own thing, but I still call him every day. But the way that he still tries to be really supportive and intertwined with my music business. And, if my speaker breaks, my dad's ordered a new one. You know what I mean? Like he's just there and that's what he likes to do. Um, but yeah, I mean, he's definitely like, if I talk about like quitting or anything like that, he's like, yeah, well, you're not a bum. So let's just talk ourselves off the ledge for a second.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's great.
Well, and you're an only child, right? And then you're also his daughter, and I can
And he's
relate
a
to it.
girl dad through and through.
Yeah. So I have a son and a daughter. And I imagine that I'll probably be a little tougher on my son than I would be my daughter.
Mhm.
Obviously, I will push them both to be successful, but I imagine that, there's going to be a different connection that I'll have with my daughter than I will with my
Yeah.
son.
I
So,
can't imagine my dad having a son. I don't know. He's just like such a typical girl dad. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Bat your eyelashes, dad, and he's like, all right,
Yeah,
like,
I'm pretty sure you figured it out. Like, oh yeah, Dad, I was looking at this, whatever.
Oh
knowing
yeah,
that
I know the
knowing
game,
that
but don't get it twisted. I know the game
don't
all the way through.
he's gonna watch it, so be careful.
Yeah, I know, right? He's gonna text me and be like, "God, your next guitar, you're on your own."
That's funny.
That's
Well,
easy.
it just goes to show you, like, you kind of you're around the right people in life and supportive people in your life, and how that, granted you need the drive and the dedication, but
Mhm.
like having that support like really helps along the way.
Yeah, and my dad, he's not naive. Like he knows that to do this full time is difficult. So he's always supportive of me, keeping my full time job for right now. And I give the guys credit that do this full time because it is a hustle. I mean, it, a bar cancels on you, that's whatever, $250, $300 down for the week. And you got to come up with that in another way. And, I don't know if I have the balls to really go full throttle and do it full time because it's a hustle. And like Neil, like I mean, he's really like I talk about him all the time. I don't want to sound like I'm just like stroking his ego, but I mean, he's figured it out. I mean, he does the lessons, he does the weddings. I mean, he's got an insane DJ business now with the weddings too. Not only does he do that, he does the acoustic cocktail hours. So he brings
Mhm.
all of his skill sets into his business with his wedding, in his wedding seasons. And, I admire that. I don't know if I have that
Well,
drive that these guys do, but
you're basically almost an entrepreneur at that point, right?
100%.
And it's tough too because it's always scary to kind of give up a steady paycheck or guaranteed
Mhm.
paycheck, and also it's hard to really, he's got his hands in all kinds of different areas. Like I'm not great at focusing on many things. I like to focus on
Right.
one or two things and like do them well. I'm not really good at like getting sidetracked, so to speak. So it's,
Yeah.
again, there's certain people that are able to do that, and I don't know that I'm one of them.
No, and I think too, what helps Neil too, and something I'm grateful I have too, is the support of parents. To plug some of Neil's music, he's got an original song called Lucky. I'm featured on one of his EPs that we did back in like 2017. I'm on a couple of songs, but my favorite song that Neil ever put out is called Lucky, and it kind of talks about just kind of the ups and downs a little bit that he's experienced and just the support of his mom, especially. And I really connect with him on that because if I didn't have the support from my parents to push through, my um I want to say mental breakdowns that I have sometimes with the gigs because they do get a lot because I do work full time. I'm in graduate school as well.
Wow.
And I do the gigs. I play 3 to 4 nights a week. So if it wasn't for my parents that were on my side and supporting me, I think I would lose my mind sometimes with just being overwhelmed. But Neil's got really supportive parents, his mom especially. His mom's awesome. So
Yeah.
yeah, it helps. Support helps for sure.
Yeah. Well, talk about, you mentioned earlier, you kind of have a few songs that
Mhm.
you've recorded that are originals, but you kind of went away from those. Talk about that kind of part of your life.
Yeah, I think with anything, we have areas where we're really strong and areas where we kind of lack. And I think for me as a musician, something that I'm not the most confident in is writing music. Um, and that was always a piece of this that I never really had an interest in. And I think that different me that I'm not like a lot of the guys that are doing this that, are really into songwriting and into this and that. Like I like songwriting a little bit more now than I used to, but it's not my favorite part. I'm more of a performer. I like to perform, whether that's my own songs, other people's songs. Um, to me, the fun in this is being on the stage and performing and entertaining people. Where I feel as some musicians that do this, they really find the joy in songwriting. Where for me, that's just not really it. Because I just don't think I'm that great at it. But Neil really pushed me to put out some of my own music when I really started playing out. I say that I started playing out in 2012, but I really got steady with it around 2016, 15, 16. And around then, Neil was always like, nice covers, but where are the originals, dude? Like, let's get some originals down. Like, Neil, I can't write a damn song, dude. Like, I can't. Like, it sounds stupid. Nothing sounds right. He's like, dude, who cares? Just write a damn song. Like, just put it together. He's like, do you think I like all my songs? No, but I write songs because, I'm writing songs. And he helped me write a bunch of songs, and he hooked me up with Windmill Agency in Mount Cobb, Eric, and we recorded them, and Neil produced them with him, and we mastered them, and we wrote them, and they are what they are. They're on. I'm just gonna say they are what they are. Um, they're on all streaming platforms, Apple Music, Spotify, all that stuff. But yeah, that's definitely something that I want to, I think I've been thinking about it a lot lately, and I want to get better at it. So I think I gotta chill with the covers, chill with the gigs maybe a little bit, and focus a little bit on writing my own music, because it's a piece of art that you'll have forever. And I appreciate the songs that I have, and it took a lot of work and a lot of effort, but I think you can only, that's a skill that I'm not ever going to improve on unless I do it. So I think I just got to get into it. I just feel so awkward. I don't know what it is.
What do you think you struggle with?
Talking.
Is it content? Is it?
Yeah. It's like, I don't want to tell anybody anything. And I feel like when you write songs, like, it's very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like if it's not personal, then it's just corny. You know what I mean? Like, I think
Sure.
really good lyrics are like deep, meaningful lyrics, I think. And then again, listen to pop songs right on the radio. They're kind of lyrics are nothingness. You know what I mean? They're
Right.
great songs. But the music that I like to listen to, like, I listen to a lot of soul, R&B. I grew up on Motown music. I grew up on that kind of stuff. So when you're, that vibe is more deep lyrically, and just, I don't know. I hate talking. Like, me doing this podcast right now for the last like half hour before I was pacing around. I'm like, oh my God, I'll sing in front of 1,000 people and like act like it's like nothing. But if I have to talk to somebody about me or about anything to do with me, I'm like, oh God, this is terrible.
Don't worry, I have like 0 viewers, 0 listeners.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. And so I think just like opening up and being vulnerable in songwriting is just so intimidating to me. I like the process.
Yeah.
Music, I like writing the music. The experience of being in the studio is so fun. It's so cool. You feel like a pop star. Like, it's awesome. And it's creative, and I love that piece. But the lyrics, Popko, just set me over the edge.
Well, I talk about that a lot too, because if I were to write a song, which again we've already discussed, I don't have the ability to be a musician or a songwriter.
Mhm.
I would have to like write about like my life or something personal, or like,
Yeah, because like, what the hell else are you gonna write about, right?
Yeah, and like, I always say, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I have a great life. I'm very happy. Like, I have a beautiful wife, beautiful children, great job. Like, my life is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And like, how do I sing about that? Like,
Right.
without being like an asshole,
Yeah, like how great my life is. Like,
Yeah,
like,
so, and I think you have
but
to be
Neil
like,
would say, okay, man, so let's write about how great your life is. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would give Neil every excuse under the sun about why we couldn't write a song that day.
Yeah.
And he'd be like, okay, so we're gonna write a song about why you're telling me that we can't write a song. You know what I mean? I'm like, I don't know how to do that. He's like, well, let's just start. You know what I mean? So he's yeah. All of this, Neil's gonna watch this and be like, oh, this kid.
Yeah, you're gonna be in the studio tomorrow.
Excuses, yeah. I don't know. I watch a lot of your people on here, and everyone's just so gifted, like, in the whole just realm of music. And I just really want to strengthen that part of me, because I'm just known as a cover artist, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But I
Pays
think
the bills.
yeah, it does for sure.
It's unfortunately, original music, no one's knocking down doors and paying big money to play original music.
Times have changed. Yeah.
But
then again, we live in a time where social media, I mean, nobody really needs labels the way that they did back in the day. You know what I mean? You can start a TikTok, Instagram, SoundCloud, YouTube, all of this stuff, and put your own music out there. An artist that I really like, his name is Russ. He's like a hip hop R&B artist. No label. And he's on the radio. You know what I mean? Like, he's done it all himself. So, I mean, 20 years ago, that was not a thing, so
that's true.
Times are a lot better for songwriters, but like you said, it's still not, you're not selling out, you know what I mean?
But with that being said, I always say I try and live by it only takes one. And when I say that, I mean, like, it only takes one person to hear a song you wrote or sang or whatever it might be. It only takes one person to maybe hear this podcast. I like to bet on the underdogs in UFC fights because I say it only takes one punch to knock somebody out.
That's 100%.
So you
Yeah.
never know.
Yeah. I have like a very, it's weird because I have a very businessy mind, yet I'm doing music. Do you know what I mean? So like for my live music business, like I focus a lot on posting on social media and I focus a lot on graphics and I try to post all the time. And when it comes to looking for new places, like how many times do I text you like, yo, Popko, you got any new venues for me, bud? Like I'm always looking for new spots, dude. And I message, like, I'm probably so annoying to these bars. Like, I really am probably the biggest pain in the ass because I'm in every bar's inbox, like, that I would like to play at. And I'm like pitching myself and sending pictures and videos. Like, if you went through my Facebook inbox, dude, you'd be so embarrassed for me. Like, I'm out here, like, just throwing myself because I want to, I want to play everywhere. You know what I mean? I love making new connections in this business and meeting new people. I've met so many people out in the scene. So yeah, I mean, I think that's kind of like, I have that more side of my mind, like the businessy, like, let's really get a good business, live music business. Like I have ADHD too. So your viewers are going to be like, what the hell is wrong with this girl? She's just all over the place. But I've spent a lot of time doing this.
Right.
And I've been able to figure out my strengths and my weaknesses. And I think I've come to the understanding that songwriting and being an original artist is a little bit of a struggle for me, but I'm really good at covers and I'm really good at live music and I'm really good at entertaining people when I'm out playing. And I think that, and we can get into this too a little bit if we have some time, just the type of music that I play is very different than a lot of live musicians. So I've kind of found my niche in that and that aspect of it. So I really push branding myself as a live musician. And I've kind of let go a little bit of the original artist piece. Let the other guys have that are gifted in that area. More power to you guys. God bless, because I wish I had that creative piece that a lot of these fantastic musicians have. So I've just kind of learned to like maximize my strengths and just ignore my weaknesses a little bit. And it works, man. And, it is what it is. I like my friends like Black Tie Stereo and Neil and everybody that puts out original music. I just say support them because they are truly gifted musicians and have a great skill with original music as well.
Yeah. Well, that's what I wanted to ask you. I mean, talk a little bit about your, who Riley Loftus is, who's getting booked out at these places because, shame on me. I heard your name all the time, especially at the V spot. I think Vinny is like your number one fan.
Yeah, he is.
And his. Yeah, and he used to do some advertising with me at the weekender days and even on the radio days. And I'd always hear your name. He'd always be talking about you. And then I only recently saw you perform. And I didn't really know what to expect. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. And that's why when you text me and say, hey, do you know anybody? I'm like, I have no problem being like, here's this guy's number. I think, Ryan at Beer Boy is like booked a few shows with you. And hopefully Tom.
He's one of the ones that I'm always a pain in the ass to trying to get in.
No, he loves it though. He's like, he started doing the Sunday thing. So on Sundays, live music at Beer Boys in Wilkes-Barre.
Awesome place.
Yeah. So, and he's like, I don't know who to reach out to. I don't have these contacts. I'm like, I'll help you. And I think in 2 days we booked him out through October. But what was I going to say? Oh, just you in general. And like, did Tom get back to you from Union Craft House?
He did. I got one finally after being left on red for 8 years.
Well, another example of like, he's like, I don't know her name, so I wasn't.
Well, if you haven't seen somebody play, a
absolutely.
lot of times bars want to make sure that their musicians aren't going to make people leave. You know what I mean? Like they want to know that it's going to help their business. So.
Yeah. Point is, I will vouch for Riley Loftus after seeing her perform live. So if people don't know who you are and they're watching this or listening to this, talk about, who you are and what you do when you're out performing.
Yeah. So I don't play Margaritaville and I don't play Brown Eyed Girl. That's the two things that I say all the time. No shade to anybody that plays those songs. Great songs. My dad's a huge Jimmy Buffett fan. Like in the summertime, you can't not hear Jimmy Buffett when Jim Loftus is around. Like he loves him, right? But that's just not my style. I grew up in Philadelphia. I grew up with my dad running a oldies station. So I grew up on Motown music. I grew up loving R&B music. I remember when I was in 7th grade, I was rapping Lil Wayne's Lollipop like around the house. And my dad was like, what the, you go to a Catholic school
Yeah.
and you're singing Lollipop. Like, what's happening? I'm paying for you to come home from school and sing Lollipop. Like, just didn't make sense. So, I just grew up loving that kind of music. And when I think I mentioned before, Tori Kelly was somebody that I found on YouTube when I was like 8th grade, 9th grade. And she did R&B music and she looked like me. She was like, I dyed my hair, but I had blonde hair for a gazillion years. And she was playing a Taylor and I just connected with her. And her sound was very soulful, very R&B. And the way she played guitar, the acoustic guitar, she played it like she was playing jazz. And I just kind of would take my lessons from Neil and I would watch her and I would just kind of emulate both of what I was being taught by him, like theory wise, and what she was teaching me performing wise, just from watching her videos. And I just kind of found my sound that way. And, when I go to pick out my set list, I'm putting Beyonce on there. I'm putting on Destiny's Child. I'm putting on rap music and I'm turning them into R&B songs. I'm putting on early 2000s pop songs. I'm playing Britney Spears. And I found that if I'm going to make this work for myself, then I have to be different because there's nothing that exciting about me. I'm just this regular lady, you know what I mean? So if I want to make a name for myself where people enjoy listening to me, I want them to enjoy listening to me, but also when they go out to a bar, they're listening to me play live music of songs that they never hear out. I really just tried to create a set list that is fun, that is really 2000s pop and R&B heavy. I really appeal to like the 30-year-old range because I'm doing a lot of songs that like they love. And yeah, I've just found that being different has really helped me kind of keep this going for a while. I love when I'm playing at the V Spot and I start playing, I don't know, like crazy R&B songs or whatever, and people are turning their heads and they're like, is she really doing that? And I'm like, yes, I'm really doing that, and I'm not for everybody, that's for sure. If you don't like pop music, if you don't like R&B music, if you don't like that kind of stuff and you really love country music, don't ever come to a Riley Loftus gig because I am not singing country music. I can't, my soul just won't let me do it. You know what I mean?
That's good.
And there's one Morgan Wallen song that I love, and I will die listening to that song. I love it. That's about it. I threw a couple Nickelback songs in there too, because my mom said Nickelback, and I'm like, fuck, all right.
How about some Creed? Can we do some Creed in there?
Love Creed. Creed. Don't do Creed, but I love Creed, dude. And I heard that they're going on another tour, and I don't know if that's true.
Well, they're playing in Hershey on August 23rd, I think.
I need to be there.
They're playing, I think, Allentown, December 2nd.
Yeah, I will be there. Like, I love Creed, but yeah, I don't know. There's people that are great at country music. Let them do it. Yeah. There's a lot of guys that are fantastic at classic rock. Let them do it. You know what I mean? Like, and I just got to find my thing, and I found my thing. Yeah, and I don't know. I have fun. I play songs that I like. You know what I mean? And that might sound like a little like egotistical or selfish or whatever, but I'm singing these songs, man, 3 nights a week. You know what I mean? And I want to enjoy it too. You know what I mean? And I found that when I'm enjoying myself, the crowd's enjoying themselves too, because it feeds off, So I love it.
But I love the fact that you kind of have your own twist on these songs because you're not playing like straight up R&B songs. Like there's like definitely a little Riley Loftus flair to it.
Hard to explain, man, unless you've seen it. It's its own thing for sure. Yeah, it's the V Spot. I picked up a gig today at the V Spot last minute. Vinny texted me. I guess something went on. They have the line dancing on Wednesdays. It's not going down this Wednesday, so he texted me if I wanted to play Wednesday. And any chance I get to play at the V Spot, that's another thing. Vinny Archer has been an integral part of I could cry, like literally thinking about the way that Vinny has helped put me on in this scene. But he texted me before and he was like, you want to play on Wednesday? I'm like, hell yeah, I want to play at the V Spot Wednesday. I mean, playing at the V Spot is not like, it's unlike any other bar, man. It's the best.
I've always said if you get booked at the V Spot, you've made it.
Dude, I remember it was 2016 and I was starting my crazy Facebook messaging like I do. These if any bars watching this, they're like, oh yeah, that Loftus kid's in the DMs again trying to get booked. But um I messaged Vinny to play at the V Spot. Now this is well before the V Spot had any type of stage, no lights. It was a smoking bar back then, okay?
Hmm.
Um, but I knew that if you were good, you played at the V Spot. You know what I mean? And I knew that if you played, and it used to be 4 hour gigs. It used to be 8 to midnight. Now Vinny does 8 to 11. And Popko, I'm telling you, I probably had 20 songs that I knew now at this point. So I'm like, how the hell am I gonna, if I ever play the V Spot, make 20 songs last for 4 hours? Because I was just gonna, I was sucked back in the day, bro, bad, like terrible, it was trash. Play these songs over and over and over again. I messaged the V Spot and I was like, pitched myself. I'm like, hey, I really want to play at your spot, man. I heard great things. Like I was 20 years old. I'm like, come on, let's see what he says. And he messaged me back and he booked me. He never saw me play. He just was like, all right, I'm gonna give this kid a chance. I was on a Tuesday night. Vinny used to have music Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And Tuesday was a little bit slower, so I think he would put the newer guys on Tuesday, see how they did, then move them, through the busier nights. And I was on a Tuesday. And that day, dude, to my mom all day long, I was like, Mom, I'm so scared. I'm so scared. I play at the V Spot tonight. I'm so scared. Everyone that plays there is so good. Everyone that plays there is so good, Mom. I'm trash. Like I can't play at the V Spot. And Vinny made the big, like he does for everybody that plays the V Spot. He makes them feel like the biggest musician in the world. You know what I mean? And he was posting all over Facebook, and I just felt so cool. And he's treated me like that ever since. And like when you go to the V Spot, you get treated like you are royalty in there, no matter who you are. You know what I mean? You're like a little celebrity in there, even if they don't even know your name. They make you feel like you're part of the family.
Yeah.
And Vinny has just always supported me. He's always been a huge fan of mine. I'm a huge fan of his. If anybody knows me, they know I don't really drink at all. I drink here and there, but if I'm drinking, I'm going to the V Spot. You know what I mean? If I'm going out, I'm going to the V Spot. And it's like my only place I'll go if I'm not playing. Because it's just, Vinny is just one of the best guys in the scene for sure.
He's created a special place there, and he's been so supportive of all the musicians over the years, whether you're an original artist or a cover artist or whatever it might be. He's made it a point to like be that staple and that go-to. And I wish we had more of those.
Oh my God. He makes live music a big deal. You know what I mean? He makes it a point that, like let's support musicians and support each other's bars. And Vinny's not just that way with musicians. I mean, he's like that with other people's businesses too.
Mhm.
Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's why he receives such greatness in return, with success and with everything else, because he gives that out to other people. My mom, she'll walk in the V Spot, and my mom, when I'm playing at the V Spot, she can't wait to go to the V Spot because she's gonna see Vinny, and she loves Vinny, and oh my God, Vinny said this and Vinny said that. But it's just his personality. He just fills up the room with such great energy. And like you were saying, like anybody that comes in there, he just makes every musician feel like they're the best musician in the world.
Yeah.
He really is awesome.
And another person who's like just, put on this earth doing the thing he's supposed to be doing,
Absolutely.
you know?
Absolutely. I mean, and he's created such a scene here for us. You know what I mean? I always say, like, Northeastern Pennsylvania, we have a lot of great things. Well, not so great things lately, but one thing that I'm so proud of our area for is its appreciation for music and
Yeah.
live music and all different kinds of music. Something about Vinny that I appreciate is he will have any type of genre in there, and any band, he'll give any band a chance, you know what I mean? Like, that wants to come and play. And, it's just, he really has kept the scene so strong, in our area with live music. And, the other bars as well. But, Vinny, he appreciates it with the lights and the stage. He makes it an experience for bands to come and play there.
Yeah.
Really great person.
And our area has such I don't even know how to explain it, but the talent that comes out of here is just,
Awesome.
second to none. And I feel like a broken record because I say this all the time on this podcast, that I would put this area and the talent here up against any other city. And I just interviewed, and I love this, the band If Kansas Had Trees.
Mhm.
And the kid was like, it's Wilkes-Barre and Scranton versus the world. Like,
Absolutely,
and
man.
it's such a cool. Like he wants everybody. Like it's not like their band versus somebody else or their band versus someone in
100%.
Nashville. It's all of us versus the world, and I love that just
Dude,
that thought.
it's such a there's no like competition between anybody. Do you know what I mean? It's
Not
all we
anymore.
all are appreciative of each other and each other's talent. Like I know for me, like all of my friends really are people that I've met through the scene. I mean, all of my musician friends, all my actual friends that aren't musicians, like I've met from being out in these bars doing the music stuff. And I have like a list. Like if I can't make a gig, you know what I mean? I've got like 10, 15 people that I know are solid, talented, awesome musicians that I would recommend in a heartbeat. I blast them like, yo, guys, I can't make it tonight. You guys want this one? You want this one? You want this one? And I I love just putting other people onto, especially the newer ones that are coming up, the younger people. I'm getting old now. So, the
Jesus.
younger guys, I
Yeah.
am. I really am getting washed up. But some of the younger guys coming up. I was at Litsy's the other day in Avoca playing,
Oh no
and
shit. I live right down the road from there.
oh yeah,
Okay.
yeah, you
Yeah.
should have came, man.
I've never been in there before.
She was looking for new people, and I gave her 5, 10 people that I was like, all right, you ever have this guy here? Nope, call him. You ever have this guy here? Nope, call him. And that's how everybody is. We're just big support of one another, and um somebody that doesn't live around here. Do you remember Angelina Bonnets?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she moved, but she was someone that me and her were like, oh my God, tighter than tight back in the day. And we did like the same thing, you know what I mean? But different. And you would think like, oh, these two girls the same age doing the same thing, like they would hate each other. We loved each other, you know what I mean? And we would support each other, do gigs together all the time. It's just how it's always been. Just a great, great scene.
Well, when you were probably 5 years old, that wasn't the case
Yeah,
around here. It
right.
was
I
very cut.
bet.
It was very cutthroat. It was very like, every band felt that, they should be on the biggest shows, or they kind of owned a part of town or whatever it might be.
Mhm.
Um, which I mean, I get to a degree. Like I love that kind of a competitive edge, but like
Right.
not for this. Like,
Yeah.
like you're saying, you should be. It's us against everybody else.
Listen, man, we all need each other, right? You know what I mean? The bars need us. We need the bars. You know what I mean? We're not live musicians if the bars stop booking live music. You know what I mean? The people that want to go listen to live music are gonna look for it. You know what I mean? So the bars, they need us too. You know what I mean? We all need to work together. And I always say like there's room for everybody. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There is room for everybody, and everybody brings something different to the table. Like every band, even if you're the same genre, you bring a different spin, and you're not, there's always going to be room for everybody. So just
Well,
be cool.
the funniest thing is like when this was happening, 20 years ago, there were probably twice as many places to play at than there are now.
Oh yeah.
So now there's less
Shit, man,
places to
even
play.
5, 6 years ago. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
looking at some of these places I used to play back in the day, and like, I don't even know if that bar is open, or I don't even
Hmm.
know, like, or I'll message that bar and I'll be like, they're not doing it anymore. It's definitely after COVID, man. It really it's gotten more difficult, but
Let's play a game.
I'm with it.
Okay. I need you to do this for me, okay? You know how you have your dad kind of wrapped around your finger?
Yep.
All right. So
What do you need? Is this a favor or a
this
game?
is a favor.
Oh, I
So
got you.
you need to drop the hey dad, like we should open like a small little club
Rockies is for
for
sale, man.
let's go.
Bad
Let's go.
juju, but my mom is really good with the sage and stuff like that. So maybe we can just go sage it up and that'll be perfect.
Yeah. Well, I feel like my calling is to I don't want anything big because I don't have money, right?
Yeah, who
Uh
does?
but like I'll help fill the rooms. Um
Absolutely.
Nothing big. I don't want a big place. Just something like kind of small and manageable. Like ideally, you have to kind of have the liquor license because that's how you're gonna make money.
Yep.
But yeah, just like a cool like maybe open like I don't know 3 4 days a week, live
Oh yeah.
entertainment.
Dude, I'm with it, man. I always say every day, love my job. My boss is watching this. I love my job. But sometimes I just want to do this full time, work for myself, and just really throw myself into this 100%. And that might be our way, Popko. We gotta
Let's
maybe
see,
have
like,
Big Jim endorse it, maybe. I don't know.
you can be a
Bring
silent
the investment
investor.
side of it.
Yeah, you can be a
Silent
silent
investment,
investor.
that's what it would be too. He'd be like, you guys can handle that.
I don't know anything about booking artists, but like we'll figure it out.
Yeah, sure, why
Figure it
not?
out. Got
Everybody figures everything out all the time, right? That's just part of life, so we can figure it out. Everything, every challenge, Pablo, this is my motto to you. Not really a motto, but my words of wisdom from my peanut brain. Every challenging thing that we've had, we've faced in our life, we've always overcome it.
you have
Because
to.
here we have to. You've
Have to.
always made it through, whether it was difficult, easy, whatever, you got through it. So if we booked a little or got a little spot, we get people. Fill it with local people first,
Right.
Having a light issue in your fancy ass.
Yeah. My cat decided.
Oh, it's okay. My dog Chloe, who is like, I don't even know what the hell's wrong with her. So many mental health issues, but she's been barking out there for the last hour. So your viewers are gonna be like, this girl is crazy.
I barely heard it, so yeah, you're good. I
Nice.
apologize for kind of
It's okay.
technical difficulties.
Yeah,
Yeah,
man.
so drop that.
I'll drop that. You drop that.
Be like, yeah, I kind of wish I had a
Pop in
place
there
to.
tomorrow. Tell him to watch the podcast, and that might be his way to get in first to see it. Then we'll really drop the bomb on him.
Yeah, like just be like, I need a place to like. I need a like a house bar that you can play at all the time.
Hell yeah. I'm so game. We got to get Vinny in on that too, because I feel like anything bar, music, venue related that Vinny would touch would turn to gold. You know what I mean?
If it was in Scranton, would that be competition for him? So maybe we have to go down like further south.
You would just have to serve terrible food and terrible drinks, and then no, it would be no competition.
Yeah, and make no money. Okay.
Great. Yeah. Just have it just bands only, no food. That's it.
Yeah, water. Water and soda.
Water, no drinks.
Water, soda, Gatorade.
It might just be you, me, your wife, and my parents come into that place.
That's fine. I'm good. That works for me. But I mean, like, have you come across any obstacles, like, when you were very young getting into this game, and then obviously, being a woman, has that played a factor into this whole thing?
Dude, I get left on red constantly from bars. Bars give me the hardest time. And I just the other day, like, and I'm psychotic a little bit. Like I'm insane. And I try to book far in advance because I need to feel for myself that like this is gonna sustain, you know what I mean? And so I wanted to finish the year off. And I was looking at my book that I've got right here, and I'm old school. I don't use Google Calendar. I don't do nothing like that. I have an old Jim bought this, book, whatever, where I put my dates. And I was looking and I saw October and it was empty. And I was like, oh no. So you're telling me that I'm only going to have a live music business until September, and then I'm just going to crash and burn and I've got nothing. And like, that's the thoughts that go through my head. And that might be one of my biggest obstacles is myself, right? Because I have like imposter syndrome where like, well, people will tell me like, oh, you're awesome. And I'll be like, really? You know what I mean? Like, are you sure? Like, so I saw like empty dates. I'm like, holy shit, I better fill this. So I started my looking for new places, going to see where other people are playing, trying to get an idea of where are some good spots, and messaging. If I open my messenger right here, I could read off 50 bars that don't even respond to me, that view my message, that like don't even answer.
Let's call them out right now.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
And I just keep going. You know what I mean? If they tell me no, then I'm asking the wrong bar. You know what I mean? I just keep going. So that's an obstacle. I mean, it's just, I feel like I still have to prove myself that I can do a good job when I'm booked. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if that's because I'm a woman. I don't know if it's because I'm young still. I don't know if it's because of the music that I play. Because I'm not in here singing the Beatles every night. I'll throw a Beatles song in, and I'm not here singing the Stones. You know what I mean? And that's not because I don't love that music. I mean, my dad works at Rock 107. You know what I mean? I Get the Let Out was something that Rock 107 did. I don't know if you guys still do it. Do you guys still do that?
I don't think so. I should probably know that, but I haven't heard.
me and my dad would listen to Get the Let Out and just listen to like Leonard Skinner and Pink Floyd and all this stuff on Rock 107. I love that music, but I don't play it because other people got that. You know what I mean? So I don't know if it's the music that I play or what, but if you love me, you love me. If the bars that don't know me, they don't know me, and I don't know if they care to know me either.
I think it's probably some of the unknown.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's I don't think it's anything.
Tom, like we're gonna shade Tom real quick. No shade, but he left me on red for how many years, dude? 6, 7 years.
To you know.
And that's no shade to him. He never saw me. You know what I mean? So he didn't know, like, who's this Riley Loftus kid? Like, you can make yourself sound like whatever you want in a Facebook message or an email. You know what I mean? But if you've never seen somebody play, you don't know, what it's going to be like until you hook me up with him and you were like, no, she's all right, man. Like, answer her. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I think that the struggle for me is just kind of the people that aren't familiar with me, just proving myself still. And got 12, 13 years later, I'm still in that boat where I got to show people like, okay, I'm not just up here for fun. Like I really do this, you know?
Well, I'm still getting 10%, right?
Hell yeah. Oh, damn. I gotta back pay you for the Beer Boys gigs. You're like Kris Jenner. I gotta back pay you for the Beer Boys gig that I did a couple weeks ago.
No, like I said, I mean, you're one of those people that I would, have no problem. And that's what I sent to Ryan. I'm like, or I told the musicians, like I sent to him, like tell him Popko sent you because like he'll know that way, like you're not a bum.
Yeah. I try, man, but like I said, every day I wake up and I put 110% into this live music stuff. I really do. I blast messages out trying to get new places to book me that I'd like to play at. I share, I create graphics. I really try to push my business. I don't just book the gigs and show up. You know what I mean? And I do that for the bars too. You know what I mean? I try to give as much publicity as I can to the bars because like I was saying before, the bars stop booking the live music, I'm out of business. So I really try to just have a really strong social media presence, and I work hard at this stuff. And I take my live music business very seriously. And whereas maybe when I was younger, I didn't so much. I just kind of played out. And I think you can tell there's in the last maybe 2 or 3 years, there's just a big improvement in my stage presence and my business mind. I've just really wanted to take this, I don't know how long I'll be doing it. So I want to do it do it well. So.
Well, yeah, I think you do it well. And, you talk about making your own graphics. And I think outside of being a performer and all that kind of stuff, you also have to do your own marketing, which you're doing.
Do. Yeah.
But like, I'll probably screw this up but this little, this schedule, Riley Loftus July schedule. It's very, it gives me like very Taylor Swift vibes.
You like that?
Are you a Swiftie?
Hell no.
No, I didn't think so.
Listen, I'm gonna get so much hate for that. Taylor Swift is a fantastic songwriter. She has figured it out. She is an incredible marketer, an incredible musician, an incredible songwriter, an incredible artist. Like she has figured it out. I don't know if you can curse on here on your podcast.
It's the internet.
Okay.
Do whatever you want.
She's figured it the fuck out, man. Like, and trust me, I curse real bad. If you know me in real life, anybody that knows that, but I've been trying to be cool with you, but but I'm wearing, you can't see it, but I'm wearing a Tupac shirt right now. So like, it's not really, but that is a little Taylor. I might have to delete that now that you said that. Redo it. But it is a little Taylor Swifty, but yeah, I got it pulled up here too. I try, you know what I mean? That's another thing with social media. I've found out that it's a very saturated place. So if I just post a status, and this is for, advice for, if I can give any advice for musicians too, like when you're trying to work on social media a little bit to promote yourselves, make the damn graphics. Get on canva.com, pay the $14.99 a month for the pro Canva. Y'all can afford it. If you're playing gigs, you can put the $15 aside. It's worth it. Get the Canva where you can use the cool graphics, the fonts and all this stuff. And when you're posting about stuff, make a graphic for it. Don't just post a status. Don't just make an event, because how many events do we get invited to that we just ignore? We don't even look at
So
them,
many.
don't even open them. But when you're scrolling, we all sit there and mindlessly scroll all day long. You know what I mean? As much as
Yep.
we hate to admit it, we do. I'm going to notice somebody that posts a big ass thing that says Riley Loftus live music at the freaking V Spot Wednesday, July 3rd in big ass red and black letters more than I'd read a little status. You know what I mean? So I found that that helps too. Another thing for bands, if you're trying to get booked, something that I found really works for me is when I send my little message tailored to that venue, send a picture of yourself. You know what I mean? Send a video of you playing, or send a live shot or something, so that somebody can put a face to what they're reading. Because when there's a picture involved or some type of media far beyond words, people can make a more, significant connection to you with that. And there's what I found is I get ignored all the time, but I get ignored way less if I put a little bit more effort into my message and I send a photo, or, and bars appreciate, the graphics and stuff when you're promoting, when you're playing. So
That's great advice. That's
my
great
advice from an old timer, man. I'm really, people laugh at me when I say that, but I really am, like, I'm going on 13 years of doing this. So that's another thing I don't think people realize, that I've really been at this shit for quite a minute.
Yeah. Well, and what's next for Riley Loftus,
Oh, what's next for Riley Loftus is I'd like to keep doing this damn thing as long as I possibly can. I'd like to, I have 15 gigs booked in August. I would be way more if I didn't have my full-time job, but I do love that as well. So just kind of keep balancing, man. I'd like to really find new venues to play at. I'm always trying to get my feet wet with new places, make new friends when I'm out too. I love meeting people. And just keep this going, man, as long as I can. I appreciate people like you that keep us relevant, you know what I mean? And you make us have an importance here. And, I just hope I have success the way I have in the last couple of years and the next years to come, for sure.
Well, I think if you keep pushing, and there's no way around it. I mean, like I said, I've known of you for a long time. And then the fact that I got to see you perform live, I mean, it just kind of tied it all together. And once again, I will vouch for you every day of the week. I mean, and you're playing all over the place. And this won't release until probably July 12th, so I won't get into too many dates prior to that. But you got, the new Benny's in Greenridge.
Fantastic spot. Fantastic spot. Wonderful
patio. It was formerly Morgan's Pub, yeah. So that's a great outside patio there. But yeah.
I got new merch coming out, Johnny Popko.
Shit.
I got new merch coming out. Well, you left your place, so you can't make my shirts for me anymore. So I had to figure out how to do it on my own. And
what'd you do?
They're little back alley shirts, I'm not gonna lie. But
okay.
I did them all on my own. I used Shopify and all that. So that's coming out in the next week or so. You want a little preview?
Sure.
A little preview? I'm still figuring it out, man. I don't know what the hell I'm doing. Sometimes I think I'm like psychotic with the things I get myself involved with. I don't even. Hold on a second.
Well, I hope they come out nice, because I mean, it's one of those things you're always kind of.
Yeah, me too, man. I'd be really embarrassed if they didn't.
Well, you
got a little. I don't know if you can see it really well, but we got a little off the sweatshirt. I did something cool, and I hope the bars don't get pissed about this. I don't know. I don't think they would. I think they might like it, but you know how like real bands. Like, I don't consider myself a real art, real bands, how they have like tour
dates,
with the tour dates on the back. So I did something like that. And you're not going to be able to see well over the video, but I kind of did a summer 2024 on the back of a hoodie of all my dates booked for the summer.
I like that.
With all the bars on here. And in the description on here, I listed all the bars' names. So it gives the bars a little bit of clout too, you know what I mean? So I got that coming out. That's a little white sweatshirt coming out.
Okay.
That's on the back. Let's see, we got a little t-shirt action right here. So yeah.
Well, if for some reason they don't
t-shirt, hit me up.
Yeah. If for some reason they don't come out to your standards, let me know.
Jim and Renee ordered trial ones today.
Okay.
And we're gonna see how they came out. And as long as all looks well, we're gonna go with it.
Tell Jim to bring that to the office. I've got an eye for that.
I need some Rock 107 merch.
So do I. This is from 2019. Hold on.
Yeah.
It is. It's from 2019. My second.
Pat, your guy for promotion director, Pat. I
Yeah.
had to stalk him down at the Taylor Deli promotion a couple weeks ago and beg him for a t-shirt because my dad just pretends like he has no idea where t-shirts are kept at the station. I just wanted a damn Rock 107 shirt, man, and I could. The man's the big boss up there, and I still can't get a shirt. So
Well, he's out there. I think he gets his own done on his own. He's
he
not like
does,
pulling. He's
but
not pulling from.
because Popko, it is embroidered.
So is
It
this.
is
This
not
is actually.
printed. He needs it embroidered.
Yes. Well, this is embroidered. This is
He's bougie.
Yeah, this is from my golf tournament. Like I said, from 2019. It was
Yeah.
what was
I
this
like
called?
I like what you did there. I like that you put you probably were wearing that today, but
I was.
I like that you put that on for this, knowing that it was me on the podcast tonight. It was just you think like a true
Yeah.
businessman. I
Yeah.
see that.
Shout out to all. I sold this sponsorship to my buddy Josh Cato at the Cato
Plug
Agency.
yourself. Go right ahead. Hell yeah.
I sold that. Yep.
Yeah, my dad's gonna love that. Wait till I'm gonna hang up with you. Hang up like I'm 90. I'm gonna get off with you and I'm
Call
gonna
you on your
my
rotary
dad.
dial.
Yeah, really. And I'm gonna tell my dad, oh, I did Popko's podcast. He's gonna say, oh, good. I'm glad you didn't stand up again. And I said, and guess what he's wearing? And he's gonna say, what? And I'm gonna say a Rock 107 shirt. And he's
embroidered polo.
yeah, oh yeah.
But yes, I did wear this to work today, and I was like, I'm not going to change it tonight.
No, wouldn't make sense to. It was very authentic for us tonight.
Yeah. Well, listen,
sure.
I know you've got a lot to do. You probably have to catch up on some sleep. All that.
Yeah, my
stuff.
next graduate school class starts on Wednesday or Thursday on the 4th of July. Actually, I do it online.
What?
So, oh yeah, don't even get me started. So that's why when I was like, I got Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, I was like, bunch of free time. Let's go. So,
well, I'm glad we finally made this happen. I'm glad we made this happen a year later. I think it all kind of happened as it should, right?
For sure. And I appreciate it so much. I appreciate you not thinking I'm a total bitch, like loser, like writing me off completely after all the times I, dropped you last minute.
Listen, these things happen. Life happens.
And just know it's not you. Just know I'm totally psychotic. So it's me. It's a me issue.
It's you. It's not me.
Yeah, no, what you do for us and for you don't just have musicians on your podcast. I mean, you have all different types of people that are kind of killing it in whatever area that they're in. So I appreciate you and what you do and kind of, allowing us this space to kind of plug ourselves and get, to know each other on a better level. And you really got a good thing. Obviously, all your awards and everything shows that. So hell yeah, look at all those Steamtown Music Awards in the back and everything else.
What?
Yeah, you do a great job, man, for real. I appreciate it, and I really am thankful that you had me on.
No, thank you. I mean, it's you guys allow me to what I call this silly little podcast, and I'm thankful for that. And
that's awesome, man.
I remember when I used to have a local show way back in the day, and that got the station kind of changed formats, so that kind of got put on hiatus.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, man, I think I need them more than they need me. So I was like, I forced my way back in.
No, perfect. It's awesome. But if anybody's watching this, well, it's not gonna air. Wait until next
July 12th, I think it is.
July 12th. Let's see where I'm at. July 12th. Maybe
July 12th. I already have it pulled up.
Bars a little bit. Let's see.
You're at Benny's on July 12th.
Perfect. Benny's. The next couple places are a little bit farther, but then July 20th, Andy Gavin's, 26th, the Peanut Bar, my new favorite spot. Benny's again, Beer Boy is your spot. So definitely come check out some of these places. They're awesome.
And you're booked through September. So lots of dates coming up. Hopefully you'll the rest of the year, the last quarter, the fourth quarter.
Yeah, dude, we're filling up. I went crazy on it because I had nervous breakdown. Now we're almost done for the year. So keep it going. Appreciate you so much.
Riley, thank you very much. Look forward to seeing you again soon. And I'm sure I'll see you in some format.
Absolutely.
Later, so, all right.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Stick around for 1 minute after we pause.
Sure. You got it.
All right, thanks. We'll see you soon.
Bye.